you're back. Really good tour. You were here since, you know, these are not all the tours, but counting some of them: In Flames 1999, Lacuna Coil 2001, Catatonia 2006, Danzig and Dimmu Borgir 2008, of course, Samael, but they dropped that tour. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was gonna. Sad news. Sad news. Yeah. Then Marduk last year, you were here, so you're back. And how would you compare this time around, this tour, to all those other ones, you know, you've been here in North America?
Well, if my memory doesn't betray me, I think it's the 11th tour we do in North America, and we understood from the first moment that we stepped on a North American US stage that you know, things will be different from Europe, and that we'll have to work really, really hard to get our music across over here, because there was not a scene for this dark metal that we were doing. So we decided, you know, to take a lot of tours, to keep coming back to the US. And what I in a kind of way, what I see happening since the Voices from the Dark tour is that finally, after so many tours, after trying to expose our music into different crowds, different packages, we have our diehard fans here, so we have a place to start from. And those diehard fans are coming back to the headliner shows as well, together with the fans of Atrocity and Lives Eyes, and even local bands that have their local fans as well. Everything helps. And what I see now is that the shows are not sold out yet. You know, some of them are pretty crowded, but I think it's step by step. What I see now, and what I really enjoy seeing, is everyone in the crowd singing Moonspell lyrics. A lot of people are wearing Moonspell shirts, and the eagerness to see us playing a longer set, and that's what's different on this tour.
Beyond what you have talked about before, being some sort of an homage to Omega White, to Typo Negative, to Sisters of Mercy, even going back to the roots of the Irreligious album, where did the idea come from? How did this happen, releasing this two album, if you will, told?
You know, all this planning that got into making the two albums and the special edition, and to try to have some special shows also where we can play Omega White repertoire. It all came to us in the, you know, the most honest way possible, which was when we were demoing the songs for a new album. We had songs like Love is Blasphemy, we had songs like Lycanthrope, but then we had this song that we ended up called White Omega, and it was the opener of Omega White. And we decided this time, instead of trying to find a balance within just one album, just to let, you know, both feelings grow, and the idea just came from there. And then we just you know, picked up bits and pieces, started composing more with one orientation. We thought of making just a very diverse album as well that will have worked as well, but I think that when the lyrics came in and when all the concept kicked in, this kind of Alpha Noir and Omega White made more sense. I know that nowadays, you know, people try to simplify, because also they are taking their fans that they cannot take a challenge. But with Moonspell, with all the albums and all the musical experiences we have done, our fans like to take challenges. So it was more something, you know, that was made for people that listen to Moonspell for quite a while. You know, new fans were pretty excited about Alpha Noir because it's very vibrant, but also there was like this hidden message for not to break, you know, the chain, especially with our more gothic orientation, that it's very important for Moonspell as well.
This is a very different question, but it's a very unique metal distinction, right? For a metal band specifically. In 2010, the Portuguese Postal Service,
yeah, that's true,
right, issued the collection of stamps representing what they call the most significant rock moments and records from Portugal, and Wolfheart is there. It was immortalized into a stamp, the album cover, so it's part of the collection. How did this unique accomplishment feel for the band, for yourself, and, you know, coming from your own country, honoring you that way, if you will?
It's kind of crazy, you know, because Portugal can pay these homages to their artists, but also can, you know, treat them like shit. And they end up living on the streets. It's a very schizophrenic country when it comes to recognizing their cultural, power. But I think with the post office, it was something really like unexpected for a while, because they were, trying to make a collection with some of the most representative rock moments, and we never thought first they will, feature a metal band, because there's Portuguese rock with Portuguese lyrics that probably will suit it best the collection. But also we had, in a way, the honor of being also suggested by one of the curators of the collection, who is a very, very important rock radio journalist in Portugal, and he wanted, to recognize also our international career. So the Wolfheart stamp, it's the €2, like more than $2 stamp, that you can actually ship stuff abroad, and that was quite cool. And for me, that I've spent, my best years in the post office, sending tapes to every country, like putting glue on stamps and shit. I think that the idea of nowadays people don't use the post office anymore to change music, but if they did, if there was a kid like sending tapes to a label, they could use now the Moonspell stamp.
That'd be a great honor, of course. It's a very unique honor for a metal band, then to have something like that, to have that type of honor within a collection, within a country's, stamp, if you will.
Yeah, I bought a lot of stamps, for a rainy day. Yeah.
You have your good supply there. That's pretty good.
And I can sign them as well. So.
You have the summer festivals already booked for this
them,
year, and then you're also doing a show in Romania with Sepultura.
Yeah.
So another, if you will, comrades in arms.
Yeah, definitely.
In a very, unique way. That's in June. But what is next, for you and the band? Basically, a break? Are you going into writing mode, more touring? What's coming up?
I think we're going into writing mode. When we had our, beginning of the year meeting with the band and talking with people that work with Moonspell, we found out there was still a lot of interest and offers, not only for festivals but also for doing touring, like headline or supporting other bands. And we looked deep into it, and but we have decided that we have toured enough for Alpha Noir. I mean, we'll not stop with the shows. Actually, since '95 we're touring. I don't remember having 2 months break. So, so that's kind of part of the nature of the band. We have shows coming up in Portugal, stuff that we can do, but doesn't demands the commitment of a tour, because we want to use those touring periods that are offered to us to work on a new album. And each time more we feel that what we did for Alpha Noir, which was basically festivals, a lot of smaller headlining shows, co-headlining, it was really great, to come back to the clubs, and people really liked this fact that they could see Moonspell for more time instead of being on a package tour. So we invested a lot of time in doing small shows everywhere in Europe, and now we felt like we built something there. So probably we are more focused in doing our own thing, doing the album, and then probably going on a headliner tour, and with bands that we will pick up. And I mean, for sure there will be probably more interesting stuff to do with bigger crowds, but we'll save that for later. I think most important now it's to get our stuff across, because there's a lot of bands in the scene. There's a lot of bands, playing and fighting for a place. And I think our only weapon against competition, it's the way we are, and the way that people identify with Moonspell, the way we are, and the way we do music. Omega Y, Alpha Noir, it doesn't matter. People like that craziness about us. So it's all about bringing this into a cool show on the road, not only in Europe, but hopefully, in another North American tour in 1 year's time or something like this. South America, yeah, we've been there already. People invited us to go after this tour, but there wasn't enough time to do everything. And when we get back to Portugal, we really want to start collecting the pieces and march forward to a new album.
Good. And any live CD, DVD release in between, or you're just gonna go straight for the new album? I mean, as far as the plans right now, we won't hold you to it. I mean, it's just futuristic.
We have a lot of stuff, and actually we just released one DVD already in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, called Lusitanian Metal, probably 2009. It was between 2008 and 2010, and it was a very retrospective DVD with like a visual biography, a live CD, etc. And it was ready for the Antidote tour. So now it's totally outdated in a way. So we have a lot of stuff recorded. We have a lot of stuff that could be definitely used on DVD, but we don't have one good idea to do that. So I'm waiting for this idea to show up. I mean, I have some ideas, because I want to do something with that material that probably doesn't have to go through a physical edition. We can definitely package it for the fans that really want to have it physically, but also to invest more digitally, because to get it out for free, or we're still thinking about it in something that makes sense for us and for the fans.
You've done a few acoustic shows or presentations, in radio stations, MTV Portugal, but you also did what was the Sombra acoustic tour, right? 4 dates in Portugal a few years back, I believe. And you also did the Sombra show edition at Wacken in 2012, but that was more with the full orchestra rather than acoustic. Was that any of those performances filmed? Do you think they're going to be available?
A lot of those performances are filmed, and even a more special performance we did as the final headliner show for Lisbon City Hall festivities. They invited MOONSPELL. I was very surprised. And they wanted a different show, and we had this Sombra thing going on. So we got to invite also a Fado guitar player. We got to invite Madre Deus, another Portuguese band that we love very much, has been influence for us for a long time. So it was a cool show, and the City Hall has recorded it, so I probably even get it for free because they always record the shows, and I got the Betacams to see. When I came back home, I have to find a Betacam, video. I probably had one in the 80s, but not anymore. So there's a lot of that material, and for sure that can be added also to a special edition, because it went really well in Wacken. It went really well in to a larger crowd, even in the Lisbon City Hall, from all kinds of metal people, jazz people, whatever. Everybody was there because it was the party that concentrates most attention. So we have to see. I mean, we're very focused on creativity, and new albums are our thing. But also we know that we need to manage this side of the careers, because there's a lot of people asking, why don't you make an album like this? And probably we already have the album done. We're just waiting for the right timing, because I'm not the kind of guy that likes to flood, and to press people's wallet with a monthly release of MOONSPELL. We have material for that. But I think music, has to have a little game, a little charm, a little seduction, a little, in-loving process, instead of just putting, as we say in Portugal, la carne toda en el asador,
all the meat on the grill at the same time. Grill, yes. Yeah. But well, and you have plenty of material to go off, and then you took your time with Alpha Noir. You said that you took the necessary time to come up with that, and it shows. You have a lot of dedication to the album, being on Napalm Records, right? And how are the guys treating you over there? Napalm. Everybody in the bill is Napalm in this tour.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good thing.
It was a coincidence. And us signing with Napalm was, we had some offers, but we were into something of a new start, and I knew Napalm for ages, since they used to be more underground, black metal based label, and doing all these kinds of bands that actually started being successful after the 2003, 2005. So they built a good reputation for them in Europe, and they were trying to expand their catalog. So MOONSPELL was in their radar, and I think they did a really good job for an album and a band that carries some baggage and some name as well. And I think they handle it really really good. So we have one more album for them, and I'm always, things with labels are cool. They're not always perfect, I won't lie to you, but I'm all up for fine-tuning and to find a way. Moonspell is a very independent band. We have very independent ideas, and we know the process. We've been in business for more than 20 years, so we have our own ideas, but we're always open to dialogue as well. So that's why no label has anything bad to say about us, and vice versa.
It included back then 4 Moonspell members, and it was done lyrically mainly with poetry that you wrote as a teenager. You were 14,
Strange
16.
dark poetry. Yeah.
Interesting. But no, good lyrics nonetheless, of course. Has there ever been a plan to resurrect this project in any way? Channel more of those, black metal roots, if you will, from Moonspell's beginnings?
Well, I think Moonspell has a very full sound nowadays. We range from everything I like to hear and have in my own band. Other than that, I see Daemonarch as a kind of my evil twin. So even though there's nothing in the plans of making such a comprehensive album with concept and everything, I have indeed done some other independent underground stuff with a couple of friends into dark music and dark subjects. And when I do something like this, I go like as Daemonarch, like a little alias. And I've done spoken word record, something with LaVey texts and crazy fucked up music. It's called Apocalypse Cancelled. You can look it up online. And then I do other stuff here and there when I have the time, and some of that stuff belongs to that darker dimension. Yeah, definitely.
Any upcoming collaborations that you're working on right now, or any other pretty much ventures with other bands, guest appearances, or anything like that you have in the works?
Well, not really. Not really. No, there's nothing like obviously. Especially in Portugal, I had some invitations here and there, and but I want to be fully focused on the Moonspell new record, our intense life on the road as well. I'm a dad as well since last time we met, so I have a 2-year-old kid.
Oh, congratulations! There you go.
So that's a big project as
is.
well. So I want to spend time with him and also spend time with being creative. And it's if you get too thin, you'll spread. Then I got some invitations even for like a super group, vocalists with people from Rhapsody, Fire, and more power metal bands. And I'm still thinking about it, but my instinct is definitely to be at home with Moonspell, be on the road if we get called up, but not to spread myself too thin. Other than Moonspell, I work with the books in Portugal as well with some publishers. We just did the 20th anniversary book last year for Moonspell, and obviously I have these projects that I'm going to pick up when I'm back home, like talking to students about rock and roll business. That's something I'm going to do.
Specific schools you're giving?
Yeah, like an art school.
An art school?
Yeah,
okay.
Art and audio engineering school. Production, they do a lot of stuff, and then also work a little bit in some books. The e-book for the Moonspell thing, for the Moonspell biography book, which is coming out in Spanish, Portuguese, and English as well, and some other stuff we have in store. I have a new poetry book also almost ended. I already released 3, so this will be the 4th. Yeah.
Seeing that Moonspell shares a long history, if you will, of occult lyrical themes, right? As well as the audiovisual images from all your official videos, from the album covers, all that. It's very occult oriented in a very good way. I mean, it's actually very enjoyable, of course. But how has your interest in occult themes, or in the occult for the matter, evolved throughout the years? Like, what type of new inspiration you found, or any new avenues or directions?
My interest in the occult was all the time man-based, so it was more of a part of man's nature. Let's call it the lunar side. It always interested me, and it still interests me. But obviously nowadays I have more mature sources, and obviously with all the reading and the researching and meeting people and going to places, that experience that kind of probably tames that wild curiosity when you are 16 or 17 or even younger. But so it's a kind of a refinement of taste, but it's still very present in our lyrics. It was never obvious. It was not like the straightforward black metal or anti-Christian lyrics. It's more about poetry. It's more about talking about the subject, but using the richness of words and themes. So I think it's still, our color is still pretty dark, I would say.
Now, to kind of talk about your career specifically, we go from Morbid God in 1989 right all the way to Moonspell in 2014. That is
what a ride, man.
25-year career as a musician and part of Moonspell, of course, as part of integral part of the band. How do you describe that career? I know it's a very open-ended question, very intrinsic, but how do you define that? How do you describe the 25-year career of everything you've experienced so far right now?
I would say I have two words that immediately pop in my mind, and they are both important for a band. And I always visualize them through an example. And the words are glory and humiliation, because it's what you feel on a daily basis, and that's the conflict of a rock metal musician, because your music won't be mainstream. The conditions will probably be the same for 10 years. And they always try to find a balance, and I think throughout the years I have fortunately found it, so I kind of tend to enjoy the good moments and also to learn and to be prevalent about the bad moments. And for me, our first tour supporting Morbid Angel Immortal, that kickstarted everything in '95 for us with the Wolfheart album, we had already hundreds of fans in the concerts. And then we were signing autographs, and then we jumped in the little van to sleep, and to drive for ourselves. So it was both little taste of glory and a little taste of, get your ass back in the van. So that always kept us very down to earth, very balanced, and our career is made of this, definitely.
Best of luck to Moonspell, not only this tour, but for their entire career, to yourself, to all your endeavors, of course, your writing, your poetry books. Can't wait for those to be released. When are the ebooks being released?
I don't know, but
not yet. Okay.
Not yet, but they are almost ready. So
okay.
I think like on the spring. But if people go to our site or to our Facebook, they can find more about it.
Okay, they know where to go, man.
All right.